1. My fiance emotionally cheated. What do I do? My fiance confessed last night that he developed feelings for his female best friend a couple months ago after he and I went to visit her and her family. She's married with kids, but she has a hard life and her husband is abusive towards her. Also, she's beautiful and lovely. I sensed that she and my fiancé were surprisingly flirty with each other and didn't know if I was overreacting. I asked him if he had feelings for her and he said no and that he thought of her like a sister. He acted distant afterwards and over Christmas. We were struggling at the time because I've come to realize my dad is a narcissist and emotionally abused me growing up. My dad has started stalking me since I cut him out. So basically, I've been a bit of a mess and my fiancé said he felt abandoned because of that and started fantasizing about his female best friend instead. My fiancé said he continued talking to her while he worked through his feelings for her and then he finally ended the friendship with her and blocked her after telling her how he felt. The problem is he never told me about it and lied to me when he ended the friendship with her about where he was. This was at a time when I felt so lost and like I couldn't trust anyone but him. But now I realize all of this was happening without my knowing, and I'm shattered. I just feel completely lost. He told me nothing happened and he ended it before it became anything, but he didn't include me in any of this and finally confessed because he said it was weighing on him and he thought I should know. I'm supposed to marry him in 3 months. What do I do? Am I overreacting? It just feels like too much. Especially after we've been arguing a lot and having a hard time for a while because outside trauma. 2. Is it ethical to tell someone you have feelings for them when they're in a relationship? I have 2 good friends that I introduced to each other because they have similar interests and I felt they'd get along. I love them both dearly. Let's call the female friend Thalia and the male friend Theo. Immediately after meeting Thalia, Theo told me he was super into her. I let him know she has a boyfriend. Over the last month we've hung out all together about 3 to 4 times and Theo continues to tell me that she's exactly the kind of girl he's been wanting. He's honestly not the type to fall head over heels easily, but he's just out of a fairly serious, albeit short, relationship, and I feel he's idealizing Thalia because she has qualities his ex lacked. Thalia has been with her partner for 8 to 10 months and I don't know a ton about him but they seem pretty serious, just went on a month-long trip together. Theo is planning to tell Thalia that he has feelings for her and that if she's ever single again, he would be interested in dating. I think this is a reckless idea and lacks integrity. To me, it is disrespectful to her relationship. He says that because he has no expectation of getting together right away or her dumping her boyfriend, then it's okay to express how he feels and an important exercise for him to openly express his truth. I think he's making a selfish act sound like a personal development exercise. Theo and Thalia have natural chemistry, but I also can see them simply being good friends and Thalia hasn't expressed anything to me about having interest in Theo beyond friendship. I think it's selfish to possibly intrude on someone's relationship and add potential confusion to Thalia's life, or a difficulty in her relationship with her partner. Especially because he barely knows her. Cumulatively, he's probably talked to her for 3 hours, but he still is adamant that he has very strong feelings for her and wants to tell her. What do you think? I'm open to shifting my perspective on it, but at the moment this situation really goes against what I think it means to be in integrity. By posting this I'm not implying that I am getting involved and wanting to change Theo's mind. He asked for my honest feedback about it. So I was very honest about what I thought and why, but I don't plan or desire to get more involved than that. I made this post because I was honestly curious if this is a normal thing and I'm being too prude about what integrity means to me or if it's actually a sketchy thing to do. 3. Men are constantly offended I have kept my last name after getting married. Married women who kept their OG name. How do you deal? I've been married for almost 10 years and the only people who give me grief are guys. I went to the DMV today to renew my ID. And the guy who was processing my information just could not let it go. He also gave me grief about just having an ID and not a license. I live in an urban area that is walking and public transport friendly. I'm 30 and have fared just fine. I'll get it when I need to. He asked me if my husband was okay with me not changing my name and I was like, I can call him and you can ask him yourself if you want. I just find it so disrespectful. there's another guy we do business with who's been shocked at my woke ways ever since we've known him, and he'll send us things that are addressed to Mr. and Mrs. last name with last name underlined 3 times. Why does it bother them so much? I guess I'm not really seeking advice, I'm just venting and hoping there are others who can relate. 4. How to deal with attention-seeking coworker. So, I've recently been in a new job where I have to travel frequently. Me and my coworkers started around the same time, and at first I actually got along with her even though we have very different personalities. Me being more constrained and her being more open and loud, she immediately started talking to me about herself and her family. I actually welcome this openness since it's hard for me to be immediately friendly with someone. Our flow was very casual and I was happy that she was in the space between a coworker and a friend. However, lately I haven't been able to stand her. We take trips together for training and she is overly reliant on me for everything. At first, I took the reins because she confessed to me that she hadn't traveled in years. Since I take semi-frequent vacations, I understood her worry, so I reassured her and just led the way. She also couldn't drive because her arm was broken, so I drove our whole trip. However, she seems very pent up on relying again and again, not to mention she has other behaviors that have really irritated me. Our last trip was really bad. First of all, she didn't even offer to drive. Her arm was already healed at this point, and got visible annoyed with me when she insisted on getting a huge truck that I wasn't comfortable driving. She complained to me the whole trip about my driving skills, even though I was driving slow because I'm in a big city where I don't know the streets. She complained to me about the dirtiness of our hotel, even though she's the one who picked, and honestly it was like any other hotel. And she spent some of our driving trips on the phone with an insurance that apparently she hadn't bought, and then spent the rest of the time complaining to me about it. In addition, she seems to have a tiny bit of jealousy of me hanging around other people even though I always invite her to join the group. She recently asked me if I want to rent the rental car because I'm always hanging out with the other girls, as if the two things have anything to do with each other. Mostly because I get to enjoy my meal with other normal people. The times I've had dinner with just her, I was mostly embarrassed by all the complaints that she made: the food, the dinnerware, the look of the place. I had secondhand embarrassment with the waiters for all the extras she asks, the utensils she asks to be switched, the asking for a different plate because she didn't like the taste. I'm trying to stand up for myself so she doesn't always get her way. I just have to be careful with how I word myself so I don't hurt her feelings, because she honestly does seem like she likes me. I honestly don't dislike her. I just like her more when we're farther apart. If she could just be a little bit more helpful during our trips and a little bit more aware of how she sounds, we would be fine. What do I say? Also, is attention-seeking the correct term? Is it something else from my description? Cause I honestly don't know at this point, lol. 5. Choosing between career and relationship. Hi all, I think this is a particularly relevant question for women in their 30s, so I'd appreciate your thoughts. Basically, I'm 35 female, have a great job opportunity in another city, but for various reasons, it would require me to end my relationship of 8 months. I do currently have a decent job here, but it's unlikely that it will ever allow me to fully pursue my ambitions. If I stay here, my BF, male 38, has indicated that we could move in together and get engaged, which is what I would want with him. He's not pressuring me either way, he just wants me to make the best decision for me. But there's just no way to make it work long distance for various reasons, and also, if I leave I can never come back, including that he's very interested in having 2 kids. I'm more ambivalent about kids, and I know staying with him would be committing to that lifestyle, which is fine. What's bothering me is that it would feel like I'm closing the door on my ambition to stay here with him. But if I go, I don't want to start over with no community and have to go back on the dating apps and risk being alone for a very long time, and possibly never finding someone I love as much as him. At 35, it really feels like a toss-up, because 5 years ago, I definitely would have taken the job, but now I know that it likely would mean a child-free and perhaps partner-free life. Has anyone ever broken up with a great partner for a career opportunity? What happened in that case? And since there's no having it all, what do you all think wins in the end, if you really and truly have to choose? P.S. No, he really can't come with me, and it's not because he won't sacrifice. He cannot be employed elsewhere or remotely because of his job. I've tried every way to have both the job and the partner, and it really has come down to this at this point. 3. Men are constantly offended I have kept my last name after getting married. Married women who kept their OG name. How do you deal? I've been married for almost 10 years, and the only people who give me grief are.
I think I've fallen into the trap of doing all the household management and need perspective on how to change that. Using an extremely old throwaway. Background. I'm 36 female and he's 35 male. We've been married since 2017. We both work, ostensibly, 9 to 5s, but I'm a corporate lawyer, so my schedule is a little more intense based on client needs. I'm using the term house management on purpose to capture the weird minutiae related to basically the ongoing giving a sh about the house state, instead of purely itemized chores, because I know if I made a list it would get done. But 1. I don't want to make a list. 2. I don't want to follow up to make sure stuff gets done, and therein lies the rub. I do most chores. Husband folds clothes, cleans the bathrooms, and takes out the trash. He does both more or less at his leisure when he decides to get them done, but they do eventually get done. Laundry might actually get folded once a month, so we go downstairs and rummage through the clean laundry. I do the laundry, trash goes out when it is overflowing, bathrooms get done when his parents visit from Canada or when the mood strikes. My chores get done regularly. Sometimes that's the nature of the chore, cooking, which I enjoy doing, and otherwise it's because the house should be more or less clean, like cleaning the kitchen. It's not every day, but there is a solid maintenance level. I know this isn't equal and I want to solve for it, but how do you impress upon someone that you're doing a lot of mental work and upkeep and they are slacking there? I feel like so much of the conversation around housework is about the literal measurable work and not the accountability. I'm not his mom and don't want to be.